Hello, I'm going to talk to you about architecture trade offs today. What does it really mean to have a trade off? I'll hook up her tweet feed here. So she was talking about machine learning and what's a difference between a bias and a variance, and how does these things create a trade-off in the predictability of the machine learning algorithm that you actually create. So I'll hook up that picture here. So if you are assuming that you are having a linear curve towards it, then you can be quite biased, and then you can miss the prediction quite well. So that's bias for you, and the variation would be if you are assuming different data sets, playing around with different data sets, and what is the predictability difference between one and another. So that's how you could. So there is a sweet spot between them. So that's the trade-off. If you go far to this far, you could be biased in your data, and if you go this far, it could be biased in your variance from the target mark. So that's a trade-off for you typically, and there are other instances of trade-off that are quite popular, especially in the digital practitioners' body of knowledge, by Don Reinstein, who actually created and wrote a lot of fundamental work on the organization flow and things like that. So he really proved to the world that keeping busy always does not mean that it's going to lead to an overall productivity for the organization. So you need to have an optimum wherein there are no bottlenecks and work keeps flowing without any constraints and so on. So there's no point overloading people. So contrary to popular belief, so there is a sweet spot wherein you could load the team optimally and then derive the benefits of productivity. So he drew up the famous organization flow chart, which I'll be hooking up here, wherein he said that the cost of transactions and the cost of handling those have a direct impact on the way in which you're going to generate organization flow dynamics. So let us say that you've got a dishwasher, and so it takes quite a bit of effort to wash the dish one after another. So if you wait for all the dishes to fill up the sink and then only wash, then it's going to stink, and a lot of things are going to go bad, and the drain is going to get clogged with a lot of matter, waste matter and all that sort of stuff. So but at the same time, if you just keep on washing for every dish that keeps coming in the flow, so you'll be overloaded with so much work that you would start hating dishwashing. And I think that's the case for a lot of people during the pandemic these days. You actually would need to find the optimum wherein you are actually continuously churning out dishes one after another, and then wait up for that optimal thing. Just about the sink gets full, that's when you start to wash it, and then you don't touch the dishes till that point of time. So that saves you the effort of soaking the dishes, putting the soap, and getting ready with your gloves on, and then because it requires a certain amount of shifting the perspectives to get ready for that act, and that by very nature consumes some amount of time. So similarly, he said that when you're stocking up eggs in your fridge, so there's a cost of transaction involved in buying the eggs. Like you have to take your car, take your bag to the nearest shopping mall, pick up the eggs, store it in the refrigerator. So all of this involves a certain amount of process. But let us say you bulk store them for an amount of 1 or 2 months, but then there is the refrigeration cost, there's a cost of storage. So the optimum between this is a trade-off. So where do you strike the trade-off between one versus another? So this is quite important in architectural discussions, in product discussions. And so it is said that you can't have user experience and sometimes aesthetics and elegance. So at times you prefer, the BlackBerry was a really good one with a QWERTY screen. You could type around just like a typewriter. So that was quite user rich. So ease of use was really good. But if you see the iPhones or the new screens which don't even have a QWERTY type space. So that is looks good on the eye, but lacks in. So there's a trade-off always on what you need to take. At times, a password, if you keep the password as a numeric one, it's quite possible that people can hack it. So it is ease versus security, performance versus latency, latency versus throughput. At times it is good versus fast versus cheap. These are all the kind of trade-offs that you can actually have. So sometimes what is good need not be fast. If it's cheap, it need not be great. So I do remember going to a trip in Turkey once, and then asking, we were shopping for luggage because our luggage became a bit bulky and we wanted to bring stuff back. And then we were shopping for a luggage, and then we got into the showroom, and then the most familiar word out there was indiram, which actually means discount in Turkish. So I just asked her, can you give us a good indiram and a good suitcase? So my wife was joking, like she said, you can't get both of them. Either you get a good suitcase or the one with a lesser indiram, because good products typically don't have an indiram attached to it or a discount. They sell by themselves. So in life, everything is a trade-off. They say health, happiness, and money. You can't have all the three. You probably have two of them, but not all three. So it seems to be quite true from the cases that we see around. Either you can have health and happiness and no money. Sometimes you have money and happiness, but sometimes no health. So things like, so trade-offs are quite important from the perspective of architecting for your organizations, where you need to consider your business drivers, your architecture drivers, your cost perspectives when you're architecting, and the features that come along with, and what is the user willing to pay, what is the sweet spot. So identifying that sweet spot is where the magic lies. So there are various things that you can play around based on what the user is willing to invest in, and that could drive your constraints and the way you go about designing products and solutions. So here is leaving you with this short quick tip on trade-offs and how important they are in architectures, products and solutions. Do like, share and subscribe this video for more such tips and techniques. Thank you very much.